Mark just got a $12,000 raise. His new salary? $82,000 a year, up from $70,000. He should be celebrating. Instead, 18 months later, Mark is $4,000 more in debt than before the raise happened. Not less, more. And by the end of this video, you're going to realize something uncomfortable. The exact same thing is probably happening to you, right now, in slow motion, and you won't notice it. Until your bank account does. Stay with me, because the trap I'm about to show you has a name. Psychologists have studied it for decades, and it is quietly destroying the finances of almost every person who ever gets a raise, a bonus, or a better job. It's called lifestyle inflation, and it's designed to be invisible. Let's go back to the beginning. 18 months ago, Mark was 29, working as a mid-level marketing coordinator in Ohio, making $70,000 a year. He wasn't rich, but he was stable. He had, a 2018 Honda Civic, paid off. A one-bedroom apartment, $950 a month. About $6,000 in savings, zero credit card debt. Nothing fancy, but nothing broken either. Then, in March last year, his manager called him in. Promotion, new title, new salary, $82,000. Mark remembers the exact feeling, that warm rush of I made it. He called his girlfriend. They went out to celebrate. And that dinner, that one dinner, was the first domino. Because here's what nobody tells you about a raise. It doesn't just increase your income, it increases your permission. The week after his raise hit his first paycheck, Mark did something completely normal. Something almost every single person watching this has done. He upgraded. Not all at once, not recklessly, just reasonably. His Civic started making a noise. Instead of fixing it for $300, he traded it in for a 2023 SUV. Payment, $540 a month. His apartment lease was up. He and his girlfriend moved into a nicer two-bedroom. Rent, $1,650 a month. He started saying yes to things he used to say no to. A $180 dinner here, a weekend trip there, a $65 a month gym with a personal trainer. Individually, every single decision was defensible. Reasonable, even. Mark wasn't buying yachts. He was doing what a person with a new salary is supposed to do. But here's the number that should stop you cold. His income went up by 17%. His spending went up by 34%. Nobody sat Mark down and told him this math. There was no warning label on his raise that said, "Caution, this money will disappear faster than you think." And that's exactly how lifestyle inflation works. It never feels like a mistake while it's happening. It only feels like a mistake 18 months later, staring at a credit card statement. Let's slow down and actually do the math, because this is the part almost nobody calculates. Before the raise, Manus income, $70,000 a year. About $4,550 a month after taxes. Manus fixed costs, rent, car, insurance, food, $2,900 a month. Manus leftover, $1,650 a month. After the raise, Manus income, $82,000 a year, about $5,270 a month after taxes. Mind new fixed costs, bigger rent, car payment, gym, subscriptions, $4,980 a month. Men leftover, $290 a month. Mark's income grew by $720 a month. His leftover money shrank by $1,360 a month. That's the trap. On paper, Mark is a successful 30-year-old making $82K. In reality, he has less financial breathing room than he did as a 29-year-old making $70K. And this is where it gets worse, because $290 a month doesn't cover emergencies. So when his SUV needed a $900 repair, 4 months later, the one his old Civic never needed because it was paid off, he didn't have it. He put it on a credit card. Suspensefully, whispery, the story turns from a bit tight to a slow-motion collision. That $900 repair bill sat on the card. Mark told himself he'd pay it off next month. But next month, his girlfriend's car needed new tires, $480, also on the card. Then it was a wedding they had to fly to, $650 in flights and a hotel, because we can't not go. By month 9 after the raise, Mark's credit card balance was $3,200. By month 14, it was $6,100. He was still making minimum payments, barely, but the interest was eating him alive. At a 24% APR, just the interest on $60,100 was costing him over $120 a month. Money that used to go into savings was now going straight into a bank's pocket, for nothing. And here's the part that should genuinely disturb you. Mark was earning $12,000 a year more than before, and he was going backward financially, faster than when he earned less. If you're watching this and thinking, that would never be me, I want you to pause the video for 1 second and think about your own last raise, or your last bonus. Did your savings account grow by the same percentage your income did? For almost everyone, the honest answer is no. That's not a coincidence. That's the system working exactly as your brain is wired to let it. Informatively. Now let's talk about why this trap is almost impossible to see from the inside, because understanding the mechanism is the only way to actually escape it. Reason 1. Reference point shifting. The moment your income goes up, your brain quietly resets what normal spending looks like. $1,650 rent didn't feel expensive to Mark because his brain had already recalibrated around his new number, not his old one. Researchers call this the hedonic treadmill. You run faster, but you stay in the same place. Reason 2. Every purchase is small. Nobody blows $12,000 in one transaction. It's a $540 car payment here, a $65 gym membership there, a $180 dinner on a Friday. Each one, alone, looks harmless. It's only when you add up 12 months of harmless that you see the wreckage. Reason 3. Social proof. Once you're earning more, the version of normal around you shifts too. New coworkers who eat out more. New friends with nicer cars. Mark wasn't trying to keep up with anyone, but his environment quietly recalibrated what felt acceptable to spend. Reason 4. The raise feels like extra money. This is the most dangerous one, because the raise felt like free, bonus money. Mark subconsciously treated it as money that didn't need the same discipline as his original salary. But money is money. There's no bonus tier where financial rules stop applying. Mark's wake-up moment came on a random Tuesday night. He was doing something he almost never did, actually opening his bank app and looking, really looking, at where his money went that month. $82,000 a year. And he had $340 in his checking account 4 days before payday. He sat there and thought about his old apartment, the one he found too small. His old car, the one he thought was getting embarrassing. And he realized something that hit him harder than any of the debt numbers. None of those upgrades had actually made him happier. The SUV didn't make his commute better. The bigger apartment mostly just meant a bigger space to feel stressed in. The $180 dinners were forgotten within a week. He had traded his financial security for things that gave him, at most, a few days of satisfaction each. That night, Mark did something simple but uncomfortable. He wrote down every fixed cost in his life and asked one question about each one. If I lost this tomorrow, would my life actually get worse, or would I just be embarrassed? The SUV, embarrassed, not worse off. The gym with the personal trainer, same answer. The $1,650 apartment, genuinely, actually better for his mental health to have less space and less rent pressure. Here's what Mark did over the next 8 months, and this is the part I want you to actually take notes on, because this isn't theory. This is the exact method that got him from $6,100 in debt back to positive net worth. Step 1. The 50% rule on every raise. From that point forward, any future raise or bonus, 50% went straight to debt payoff or savings. Automatically, the day it hit his account, before he could feel it as spendable money. The other 50% he allowed himself to enjoy. Guilt-free. Step 2. He downgraded one thing that didn't earn its place. Not everything, just the SUV. He traded it for a smaller, reliable used car and cut his payment from $540 to $190 a month. That single decision freed up $350 a month, almost the entire gap that had been quietly bankrupting him. Step 3. He automated his savings before he could see the money. $400 out of every paycheck moved into a separate account the same day it arrived, before it ever touched his regular checking account. Money he never saw was money he never missed. Step 4. He gave every dollar of extra income a job before it arrived. No more decisions made in the moment, standing in a store, or scrolling a car dealership website. Every future raise had a plan attached to it before it ever hit his account. Within 8 months, Mark's credit card was paid off. Within a year, he had $8,000 in savings, more than he'd ever had, even before the raise. Same salary, same $82,000. The only thing that changed was that Mark stopped letting his lifestyle expand at the same speed as his income. Here's what nobody tells you about money, and it's the single most important sentence in this entire video. It's not how much you earn, it's the gap between what you earn and what you spend, and that gap is the only thing attained in number that actually builds wealth. Mark could have made $150,000 a year and still gone broke if his spending kept pace with his income, the way it did for those 18 months. Meanwhile, people earning half of what he earns are quietly building real wealth, not because they earn more, but because they never let their spending catch up to their income in the first place. The scary part isn't Mark's story. The scary part is how normal it is. Every single upgrade he made was reasonable. Nobody would call him irresponsible. That's exactly what makes lifestyle inflation so dangerous. It never feels like a mistake in the moment. It only feels like one 18 months later when you're staring at a number you don't recognize. So here's my question for you, right now, before you close this video. Think about your last raise, your last bonus, your last extra money. Where did it actually go? If you can't answer that in 10 seconds, that's your answer. If this video made you a little uncomfortable, good. That discomfort is the first step to actually fixing. Comment below. What's one thing you upgraded after a raise that you now regret? I read every single one, and I'm going to feature the most honest answers in next video. And if you want to see exactly how much lifestyle inflation might be silently costing you, I break down the real numbers in the next video. Subscribe, because you don't want to miss it.